My son pushed me down the stairs and said, "When are you dying, old man? I can't wait to inherit your multi-million-dollar company." Then he left 52 missed calls in 2 days. That's how my story begins. A story not of weakness, but of what happens when blood betrays blood. People talk about betrayal as if it comes from strangers, enemies, business rivals. They never want to admit the sharpest knives are kept closest to the heart. The day my son shoved me, I wasn't surprised. That's the sad truth. I saw it coming. The greed in his eyes had been there for years, buried under fake smiles and expensive suits I bought him. I just didn't want to believe it. I thought I could change him. I thought the love of a father could wash away the rot. But money rots faster than corpses. I felt every crack of bone as my body rolled down those marble steps. My marble steps. The house that I built, stone by stone, dollar by dollar, became my execution chamber. My ribs screamed, my hip shattered, my skull grazed the sharp edge of the stair rail. When I stopped moving, I lay on the cold floor, gasping, tasting iron in my mouth. I looked up at him, my son, my heir, my only blood. He didn't rush to help. He didn't even flinch. Instead, he leaned over the railing, smirked, and whispered the words that still burn my soul. "Hurry up and die, old man." Then he walked away. 2 days later, I woke in the hospital, my body wrapped in tubes and wires. They told me I was lucky to be alive. Lucky. If luck meant staring at the ceiling at night, replaying the sound of your son's footsteps, leaving you to die, then yes, lucky. But the real sting wasn't the fall. It was the phone. While I was half-conscious fighting pain, the nurse handed me my cell phone. 52 missed calls. All from him. At first, I thought maybe, just maybe, he felt guilty. Maybe he realized what he had done and wanted to apologize. Maybe I still had a son. But when I opened the messages, I realized the truth. Message 1. "Dad, we need to talk about the will." Message 6. "You're not going to last much longer, are you?" Message 18. "Why haven't you signed the documents yet?" Message 31. "Answer the damn phone, old man." Message 46. "If you don't transfer it soon, I'll make sure you never walk again." And finally, the last one. Message 52. Tick tock. Your time's running out. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but mine would be carved with precision, plated with patience, and served in a feast that would choke the very son who called me his father. I wouldn't just punish him, I'd ruin him. And when he finally realized what was happening, it would already be too late. Because the one thing he forgot in all his arrogance was this: I didn't build a multi-million-dollar empire by being weak. I built it by being ruthless. And now I would turn that ruthlessness on my own blood. Silence has a sound. It's not the absence of noise. It's the ringing in your ears when you've been ignored. The hospital was full of chatter, nurses moving carts, machines beeping, shoes squeaking on polished floors, but all I could hear was silence. Not a word from him, not a single visit. The son I raised, fed, clothed, sent to Ivy League schools, handed a silver spoon so heavy it should have broken his jaw, didn't come to see if I was alive. Why would he? He thought I was already finished, a broken old man, bones too brittle to stand in his way. But he forgot something. A broken bone heals stronger. In that sterile bed, I began my work, not on my body, but on my revenge. The first step was simple: disappear. I had money, more than he even knew existed. For years I kept accounts in shadows, property under shell companies, assets buried beneath layers of lawyers and offshore signatures. He thought the company, the mansions, the cars, that was everything. No, that was just the bait. The real fortune lay hidden, invisible. So I let him think I was weak. I ignored his calls. I didn't reply to his messages. Let him stew in his arrogance. Let paranoia gnaw at him like rats in the walls. Because silence is louder than any answer. He's ignoring me. 52 calls. 52! No response. No signed documents, no updates from the lawyers. The stubborn old bastard is dragging this out on purpose. He knows I need the company transferred before the board meeting. He knows. I've worked too hard to wait. Everyone thinks I'm just some spoiled heir, but they don't see the truth. I've played the game. I've stayed close to him, learned his moves, pretended to respect him. Also, one day, everything would be mine. And he's still clinging on. I can't let that happen. If the company slips from my hands, I'll lose everything. My apartment, my lifestyle, my status, gone. I deserve it. After all the years I spent living in his shadow, I deserve it. But maybe he's weaker than I think. Maybe the fall cracked more than just his bones. Maybe he's already dying, slowly, pathetically. Still, I need to be careful. If anyone suspects what I did, what I tried to do, then I lose everything. So I smile at the board members. I tell them Dad's recovering, that he'll hand things over soon. I charm the investors, reassure them the future is safe with me. But inside, I'm boiling. He better not drag this out much longer. If he does, I might have to finish what I started. I watched him through the cameras. Yes, the mansion had cameras. He forgot that. While I lay in my hospital bed, I had access to every room, every conversation he thought was private. He brought women into the house, poured expensive wine into glasses he never paid for, held meetings in my study, sitting in my chair, pretending he already ruled the world. I saw everything, and I smiled, because the higher he climbed in my absence, the further he would fall when I pulled the floor out from under him. He thought he betrayed me once. He didn't realize I was only just beginning to betray him.
The doctors told me to rest. They said recovery would take months. I nodded, smiled, and pretended to obey. But I wasn't interested in healing. I was interested in sharpening. Every morning before dawn, I pushed my body past the pain. My hip screamed, my ribs protested, my legs trembled like a drunk man on ice. But I forced myself upright, step by step, breath by breath. Each wince was a promise, Each scar was a contract. By the third week, I could walk without a cane. By the fourth, I was lifting small weights. By the sixth, I was strong enough to climb stairs, the very same kind my son thought would bury me. I wasn't just regaining my body. I was rebuilding my empire. Quietly, silently. While he flaunted himself in my house, I sat in a rented apartment under another name, running the company from the shadows. My retirement was just a mask. I still had loyal board members, secretaries, accountants who owed me favors. I moved money like a magician, shuffling millions into places my son would never find. And all the while, I let him think he was winning. Because the sweetest revenge isn't sudden, it's slow. It's watching the arrogance grow until it blinds them completely. And my son was already blind. I finally had it, the office, the title, the seat at the head of the table. At least, that's what I told myself. When I walked into the boardroom, heads turned. Some smiled politely, others whispered behind my back. But I didn't care. They saw me in his chair, and that was enough. "Your father is still the official CEO," one of them reminded me. "Not for long. He's in no condition to lead." It felt good to say it. It felt like victory. But beneath the surface, a gnawing itch wouldn't go away. Something about the old man's silence bothered me. Why wasn't he answering? Why wasn't he fighting back? That wasn't like him. The old man was a wolf, cold, calculating. He didn't survive decades of business wars by lying in bed. He fought, always. So why now? Nothing. Was he really that broken? Or was he watching me? The thought made me sweat. At night, I'd pour whiskey, sit in his office, and stare at the portraits on the walls. His eyes in those paintings seemed to follow me, judging, mocking, daring me to slip up. Sometimes I'd mutter, "You're finished, old man." But deep down, I wasn't sure. The board thought I was recovering quietly. My son thought I was dying silently. The world thought I was irrelevant. Good. That's exactly what I wanted. Because in the dark, behind closed doors, I was drawing maps, real maps, not of land, but of people. Who was loyal? Who was corrupt? Who would sell their soul for a slice of power? And one by one, I reached out. Old friends, old enemies, even those who once swore they'd never speak to me again. I made them offers, deals, promises. When the time came, I would not be alone. But my revenge wouldn't just be business. No, that would be too easy. I wanted something deeper, something personal. I wanted him to feel what I felt, betrayal. And the only way to do that was to use the one weakness he still had. He didn't love me, but he loved his reputation, his image, the world seeing him as the golden heir, the prodigy, the unstoppable successor. He loved the cameras, the flashing lights, the applause. So I decided I wouldn't just take his money. I'd take his name. I'd drag it through fire until nothing remained but ash. And when he begged me to stop, when he realized it was me all along, I would smile the way he smiled as I bled on the marble floors. Something's wrong. I can feel it. The old man's silence isn't normal. I've checked the hospitals. Records say he checked out weeks ago. Where did he go? Why hasn't he come back home? The staff are tight-lipped. The lawyers refuse to answer my calls. Even the accountants act nervous around me. It's like he's still pulling the strings somehow. But that's impossible. He's an old man, half-crippled. He can't be plotting from a hospital bed, right? And yet, the numbers don't add up. The accounts don't match. Money is moving, millions shifting, disappearing, reappearing in places I can't trace. No, he's supposed to be finished. I made sure of it. I saw him fall. I heard his bones snap. He should be dying. So why does it feel like he's already coming back? Revenge begins with silence, but true destruction begins with spectacle. I wanted his downfall to be visible. I wanted the world to watch as his mask cracked. So I set the stage where he felt most invincible, the boardroom. The son loved that room. The long glass table, the skyline view, the leather chairs, he thought it crowned him king. So I made sure his coronation turned into his execution. I had lawyers leak documents, real ones, but carefully timed. Expense reports showing his recklessness. Private emails hinting at fraud. Pictures of him drunk with escorts in the company penthouse, taken from the very cameras he forgot existed. The media devoured it. Headlines screamed, "Heir of fortune exposed in scandal." Company shares drop amid son's mismanagement. And just as the chaos erupted, I released one final piece. A leaked audio recording of his voice on the phone muttering to one of his friends, "The old man won't last much longer. Soon it's all mine." The vultures circled immediately. Investors panicked. Clients fled. Employees whispered in corridors. But the sweetest moment? Watching the board call an emergency meeting without him. From my hidden place, I watched the son's kingdom begin to crack. And I smiled, knowing it was only the beginning. It's a lie. All of it. The articles, the leaked photos, the emails. Someone's framing me. They have to be. I storm into the office, and instead of respect, I see eyes darting away, whispers trailing behind me. When I enter the boardroom, half the seats are empty, those cowards resigned overnight. "What the hell is going on?" I shout. One of the directors clears his throat. "The company can't withstand these scandals, son. The shareholders are uneasy." "Uneasy?" My voice cracks. "This is slander. I'll sue every last one of those journalists. Do you know who I am?" But even as I say it, I feel the ground shifting beneath me. The stock is plummeting. Banks are tightening their grip. Every call I make goes unanswered. And then the phone buzzes. A private number. I answer, desperate. Silence. Then, a voice I thought I'd never hear again. "Do you miss me, son?" My chest tightens. It's, "Dad?" But the line cuts before I can say another word. No, it can't be. He's supposed to be weak, broken, irrelevant. He can't be behind this. Can he? Revenge begins with silence. But true destruction begins with spectacle. I wanted his downfall to be visible. I wanted the world to watch as his mask cracked. So I set the stage where he felt most invincible, the boardroom. The son loved that room. The long glass table, the skyline view, the leather chairs. He thought it crowned him king. So I made sure his coronation turned into his execution.
I had lawyers leak documents, real ones, but carefully timed, expense reports showing his recklessness, private emails hinting at fraud, pictures of him drunk with escorts in the company penthouse, taken from the very cameras he forgot existed. The media devoured it. Headlines screamed, "Heir of Fortune exposed in scandal. Company shares drop amid son's mismanagement." And just as the chaos erupted, I released one final piece, a leaked audio recording of his voice on the phone, muttering to one of his friends, "The old man won't last much longer. Soon it's all mine." The vultures circled immediately. Investors panicked, clients fled, employees whispered in corridors. But the sweetest moment was watching the sun's kingdom begin to crack. And I smiled, knowing it was only the beginning.
Revenge is like chess. The queen is power, the rook is wealth, the knight is reputation. But the most dangerous piece? The pawn. The one you never see coming until it's too late. And my son had many pawns. He just didn't realize they answered to me. The first pawn was his lawyer, the same man who had been drafting my wills and contracts for decades. My son thought he owned him. After all, he paid the bills now. But loyalty isn't bought with money, it's built with history. And that lawyer remembered every favor I'd ever done for him. The second pawn was his lover. He paraded her around like a trophy, a woman half his age who whispered sweet lies in his ear. What he didn't know was that she had once been mine, not in body, but in loyalty. I saved her family years ago. She owed me. And pawns always repay their debts. So while my son boasted, drank, and screamed into his phone, thinking he still had control, my pawns moved quietly. Papers were signed, calls were recorded, secrets were catalogued. Then I chose the most delicate blade: intimacy. Not headlines, not lawsuits, but betrayal. I wanted him to feel the same knife I felt the moment he whispered, "When are you dying, old man?" Son's point of view. The walls are closing in. Every call I make goes unanswered. My lawyer, who used to jump at my word, is suddenly unavailable. My lover, always clinging, now leaves me waiting. Even the board avoids me. And the whispers. Oh God, the whispers. Last night at a bar, I heard two investors laughing. He's finished. The old man's still pulling the strings. I slammed my glass down, ready to fight, but when I turned, they were already gone. I stumble back home, desperate for comfort. She's there, my lover, waiting with her soft smile, her arms around me. For a moment, I feel safe. Until she whispers in my ear, "He's watching you." I push her away, demanding answers, but she just smiles. A knowing smile. A smile I've seen before. On him. And then I realize, she's not mine. She never was. She belongs to him. Father's point of view. When he finally discovered her betrayal, I knew the seed had taken root. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just wound you, it rots you from the inside. You stop trusting. You question every voice, every touch, every shadow. And soon, you're alone. My son thought he had the world at his feet. Now the only thing at his feet was a bottle of whiskey and the shards of his own paranoia. I didn't need to kill him. I was already watching him kill himself. But I wasn't finished. The final move was near, and it would be face to face. Because revenge isn't complete until you see the light leave their eyes. Son's point of view. I can't take it anymore. The whispers, the silence, the betrayals, the ghost of his voice in every corner of my mind. He's alive. I know it now. I can feel him, watching, waiting, laughing. But if he's alive, then I'll find him, and this time I'll make sure he doesn't get back up, even if it's the last thing I do.
The night air cuts sharp against my skin as I push through the gates of the mansion. His mansion. My fists are tight, my breath ragged. I know he's here. I can feel him. For weeks his voice has haunted me. His shadow has stalked me. Every deal crumbled, Every ally turned against me, every piece of my empire rotted away, and all roads lead here. The house is dark, silent, but not dead. It breathes like a predator waiting for me to step inside. I grip the gun tighter. This time, he won't get back up. I climb the stairs, the same stairs I pushed him down. For a moment, I almost see him lying there again, blood on the marble, eyes staring. But when I blink, the vision is gone. I whisper to the empty halls, "Where are you, old man?" And then, his voice, calm, cold, too close, "Right behind you." He spins, gun shaking in his hand. His face is a portrait of ruin, eyes bloodshot, hair wild, suit wrinkled and stained. Not the heir of my empire, just a desperate boy drowning in his own arrogance. I step into the light, strong, straight-backed, alive. He gasps like he's seen a ghost. "No, no, you can't be." "Can't be what? Alive? Stronger than ever? Smarter than you?" I let the silence sink in before I lean closer. "You should know better, son. I built this empire by surviving men far more dangerous than you." His hand trembles on the trigger. I see it, the fear, the rage, the confusion. He doesn't know whether to shoot or beg. So I give him the push. "You wanted me dead, but look at you now, broke, alone, hunted. Do you even know what's left in your accounts?" His eyes dart. "What do you mean?" I smile. "Every dollar, every asset, every piece of property you thought was yours was mine. Moved back, reclaimed, signed over by people you trusted. Even your lawyer, even your lover." I toss a folder at his feet. Inside are the papers, proof of his bankruptcy, proof of his betrayal, proof of his defeat. "You see, son," I whispered, "you didn't inherit my empire. You inherited my enemies, and they've been waiting for you." I flip through the papers with shaking hands. Each page is a nail in my coffin. The money, gone. The shares, gone. Even the penthouse, sold. "No!" My voice cracked. "You can't do this to me." He chuckles, that cold, knowing laugh I hated all my life. "Oh, but I already have." Rage floods me. I raise the gun, pointing it at his chest. "Then I'll take the one thing I have left, your life." But before I can pull the trigger, the lights blaze on. Men step out of the shadows, police, armed, waiting. Hands grab me, twist the gun away, shove me to the ground. I thrash, scream, but it's useless. "What the hell is this? You set me up!" He kneels beside me, eyes calm, voice sharp. "No, son, you set yourself up. I just let the world see the truth." The officers haul me up, cold steel biting my wrists, and his voice follows me like a curse. "You asked me when I was dying, boy? The answer is simple. Not before you." The door slams shut behind him, the echoes of his screams fading into the night. For the first time since he pushed me down those stairs, I breathe freely. I should feel triumph, victory, satisfaction. And I do. But beneath it, there's something else. A hollow ache. Because I didn't just destroy my enemy tonight. I destroyed my blood. But perhaps that's the final lesson. Blood means nothing without loyalty, and betrayal deserves no mercy. I pour a glass of whiskey, watching the dawn creep over the city skyline. The empire is mine again. The sun is gone. The war is over. And as the sun rises, I whisper the words he'll remember forever. The last laugh is mine.